Hey, so we're in Abyss Floor 11. This video is going to show you the enemies, where they spawn, what happens when you kill them. Left side of the screen is going to show you the floor layout and the waves. Right side of the screen is going to be the total number of enemies on the current chamber. These will also be linked in the description so that you can see them easier. As for team comps, you absolutely need Animo Traveler in the first team. Kaya is not bad, neither is Barbara. As for the second team, you're going to need a Geo/Claymore character like Noelle, or an Electro-Pyro combo, and we'll get into why when those come up. Starting off the first chamber, we're going to have 3 Hydro Slimes and 2 Electro Slimes. Immediately, you're going to want to kill the Hydro Slimes because that is going to be our top priority. Kaya is very good on this floor. Not only is cryo damage increased, but he can constantly freeze and create super conduct. You do have to be a little bit careful on this floor because it's very easy to get affected by both Hydro and Electro. So that means Electro Charge, which means your character getting constantly staggered, and that's not fun. When that happens, you can usually just switch over to another character that most likely is not affected by those elements. Once you kill all the Hydro Slimes, this Hydro Abyss Mate is going to spawn at the bottom. He has an aura, you want to focus on him first. This is why we have Kaya as well, because this is going to be the fastest way to break down the shield. Once you have a shield down, just burst him. After that, we just have a bunch of Electro Slimes left. The final wave of Electro Slime spawns at the bottom. And once we finish with this last 2, we're done. So in the second half, we're going to have 3 Axe Mid-Trolls lined up at the top. You can honestly go any direction and just go to the left, they're all going to charge after you. Try to group them up together as best as you can, because hitting them all at the same time can save you a lot of time. Once all 3 of those are down, 3 of these shield Mid-Trolls are going to spawn. They're all going to charge at you right off the gate. This is why we want a Claymore or Geo character to break their shields. If not, you can use Electro and Pyro to create Overload, which does a significant amount of damage to their shields. From here, it's basically the exact same thing as fighting the Axe Mid-Trolls. You just want to group them up if you can to do more damage to all of them so you can do it faster. At this point, this is just a DPS check, so I can't really help you there. Okay, moving on to the second chamber, which is probably why most of you are here. Before we get into anything, we're going to pause the video because there's actually a lot to go over here. So right off the bat, we're going to have 6 enemies. 2 are going to be little hilichurls with geo shields. 2 are going to be pyro torch holders. And 2 are going to be archers in the top right. The torch hilichurls are going to be aggroed onto you, as well as the electro archer on the left. The 2 hilichurls and the pyro archer on the right are going to be aggroed onto the monolith. So we want to deal with them first. We actually want to kill the pyro archer, because when we kill him, the next one that spawns actually focuses on you instead of the monolith. So then both archers are going to be focused onto you, and the only thing that we have to worry about are the 2 hilichurls with geo shields. Now ideally you would have your ult here because it would make it a little bit easier, but because it's hard to charge ults on this floor, I wanted to make a solution that didn't involve ults, and that's what this is. So right off the bat with the Animo Traveler, we're going to charge attack the one on the left to hit him to the right, and then use our elemental skill. For some reason, when you use a fully charged elemental skill against these guys, it draws aggro 100% of the time. So now that we've drawn aggro, we want to go kill this fire archer. So now that both archers are focused on us, we only have to focus on the hilichurls. Killing those 2 hilichurls will spawn another 2 hilichurls in the exact same spot. Just do the same thing, use Animo Traveler's fully charged elemental skill to draw aggro. You're going to want to stay in this right corner of the room, just so you're not in the way of the monolith, so the archers only target you and the monolith is not in the way. So once we kill all these shield hilichurls, this Hex Minotaur is going to spawn in the middle. You want to be right next to him when he spawns because that's going to draw aggro from him. If not, you can freeze him with Kaya and Barbara to kind of guarantee that you do. From here, just focus him down, continuing to stay up in the upper half of the room. Once he's down, focus on the remaining hilichurls with torches, because once they're gone, this Dendro Shield Minotaur is going to spawn. And you want to get out of the way of the monolith because he's going to charge at you as soon as he spawns. So if you're in the way, he's actually going to attack the monolith. And this is the same thing as the other Minotaur, just focus him down. You don't necessarily need a pyro character for this floor. You can do this with Kaya and Barbara, just freeze him to attack him from behind. And you can take as long as you want because this is a defend chamber, we are not timed. Once he's down, you just have to focus on the archers and then we're done. Ideally, you would want to hit the archers to the other corners as you kill them, because when these 2 die, 2 more are going to spawn in the other corner. So if you push them to that area, you're going to be able to hit them all as soon as they spawn. I don't necessarily do that here, but it is ideal. Because of this last Hilichurl actually ends up hitting my monolith for 3% more, which really sucked. And now we move on to the second half. We're going to be dealing with a Sisson Mage with an Electro Aura and 2 Potioneers. Right off the gate, you're going to want to focus these Potioneers because they can really dot down the monolith really quickly. Cycle between them back and forth, trying to stagger them so that you can draw aggro. Once those guys are down, we can focus on the Assistant Mage. You kind of have to watch out for her bats, because those guys can do a ton of damage to the monolith. I found that if you're near the bats, it kind of draws aggro from them. Now when she does this move, which is basically her ult, that's really good for us because these Sisson bats actually disappear when she does this move. If you're using a Geo character, picking up a crystallized reaction of the Electro will pretty much let you tank this entire thing. Before and after that are basically where you're going to want to do all of the damage because the Sisson bats are not there. So once she's down, we're going to have some Treasure Hoarders and a Pyro Agent. Focus on the left and right Treasure Hoarders first. You can attack them a couple of times to stagger them, and after you stagger them, I found that almost always draws aggro. So I draw aggro from the one on the right and then move over to the one on the left. And just focus on those two. The guy with the shovel back there, you can just ignore him completely, because the only attack that he will ever do, as long as you're not in range, is attacking it with dirt, and that dirt does 0 damage. So then you can just focus on the Pyro Agent. And once the Pyro Agent is dead, we are chilling. This guy's not going to do anything. He does technically have another attack where he attacks with the shovel, but he will never do that unless you're in range of him and he's aggro onto you. So as long as you let him just do his thing, he's going to do 0 damage. From this point on, I would say that you can charge your ults, but it's kind of, I don't know how far you would get because your energy is constantly draining. But you can heal, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So once you're ready, you can just take them out and they're done. And now we move on to the third chamber. This is just a huge DPS check. We're going to have an Electro Hammer F2P on the right and an Anima Boxer on the left. Ideally, you would focus on the Anima Boxer first, but realistically, you could just focus on the Electro Hammer and the Anima Boxer is just going to jump in constantly, because that's how his AI works. So you can hit both of them at the same time. Once those guys are down, we're going to have a Hydro Gunner, another Electro Hammer, and a Geo Chanter. Ideally, you would have a Geo unit on this team, and you can technically do a Geo Traveler, but Animo Traveler is just much easier for that second chamber. Focus on the Hydro Gunner first because he's going to be constantly healing. Once he's down, just focus on the Electro Hammer. And then after that, the Geotenter. Now I end up going really slow because I have no way of breaking that Geotenter's shield. So I end up losing a lot of time. But Animo Traveler is just so much better for that second chamber that at this point we probably already have 6 stars, so we don't need any more from this, we just need to beat the floor. And I know for me personally, I'm never going to get 9 stars on floor 11 for a long time. So I'm perfectly content with just having 6 stars. And moving on to the last bit, we're going to have 2 Electro Sisson Mages at the top. Again, this is just a huge DPS check. They're usually not going to be next to each other because they're just constantly teleporting. So your guess is as good as mine with how to deal with these two. Just deal with them how you normally deal with Sisson Mages. You can try your best to stagger them for a little bit, but honestly they can just teleport whenever they want. This is literally one of the most annoying enemies in the game. And we have to fight too, which is really fun.
Let me amuse myself.
Order guide
Once the Sisson Mages are done, we have 2 more Pyro Fatigue agents to deal with, one at the top and one at the bottom. Again, with the Sisson Mages, you're most likely going to be dealing them one-on-one instead of at the same time. You do have to make sure to look out for them because they can end up doing a ton of damage to you with one of their slash attacks. Audio cues are huge for them. Once you hear them say whatever line, that means you're going to dash forward. So just make sure you watch out for that. Unfortunately for me, I end up dying here. So the rest of this is just going to get sped up because it's going to take forever. And with floor 11 done, we only have one more floor. Floor 12 will hopefully not take an entire week to do, so I should be able to get it out before reset. So, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want, especially if you want to see floor 12. And I will see you then. Bye-bye.